start out this year by looking at the big picture. This is the 1 year, 1 day chart. And you can see the month lines here that have been added in. And the other thing that I added to this was something I've been kind of playing around with lately. It's called the Fibonacci retracement lines. And the way they work, it's this dotted red line here and here, and then these lines with the percentage, these red lines with the percentage written on them. So the way they work is you start off by your first point is your lowest, and then you put it, the next point would be the peak, and then the lowest again, and then that will lay out a predictive thing for the next leg up and how far it's going to go. And the percent, I don't always understand exactly what it means, but in my experience and using this in the past year, if it gets up to 61.8, that's most likely. If it gets anywhere above that, it starts to peter out. And then above here on that's not on the screen, it says 100% way up here. So we didn't quite reach the 100% line, but we did blow past the 61.8, obviously, and also the next line up. But you can kind of see, there's a big jump up right here. That was right before the holidays. And then it kind of dropped down, and then it peaked out again, and you can see it just seems to be losing a little bit of momentum. You can see that also on the MACD. It's way up high and tipped over going down. The RSI, the two peaks, this one's lower than that one. So you've actually got a diversion, what's it called? Oh man, the name escapes me. When one is going down and the other one's going up, it's going the opposite directions. That is significant. That means that you are losing momentum even though you've gone up a little bit higher in this peak here. So all those things go to show that I think we are ready for a downturn, and the downturn could be huge. It could come all the way down to here, here. It could even drop past the lows that we saw previously, but that would be a good support right there, right there, right there. It could drop as far as that. So, and that would probably take a very long time to get down there. Remember, this is the 1 year, 1 day chart. So, anyway. That's kind of where we're sitting, and I'm expecting a downturn. We're just kind of waiting for a good time to get in. Then I went in and I cleaned up a lot of the price lines. I got rid of them, kind of resituated them. This purple line here is at the support for this little section right here, and I've got another line in here, which is at the peak. And it's also interesting to notice that's kind of where it peaked out, was at that 61.8%. That's a very likely spot for it to go up to. So I thought that was kind of interesting. You can also see that the 78.6% acted as a support level in a couple places right here, and could well act as another support at that point for a time anyway. It might bounce a little bit off of that, but that's a very likely place to go. All right, now we're back to our normal chart. This is a 1,000 tick chart again, 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart, and you can see in the wee hours of the morning it dropped considerably here, and we've made a lower low than we did previously. We can see that the blue lines are on this one tipping down. They're already going down here, and tipping down here as well. So we've got a lot of downward momentum going on right now. In fact, I would consider this a downtrend on the shorter term. And so looking back at the, that other long-term chart, I would say that it was not really a downtrend yet, but it was showing signs that it was getting there. And so anyway, that's where we sit. So we can see that the MACD is pretty low right here, but it also looks like it's about to tip down. We are gaining momentum on the RSI here, though, which is interesting. Got a diversion here, going up, going down. You can see that. All right, I did decide to go in the long position because it looked like it was forming a higher low right here than it was right here. And I kind of made a prediction as to where I thought it might go. Put in a price line. That was the reason I picked that was this was the trough that was over here. You can see it over here too. All right, so I thought, well, if it does bounce up, probably it will come up to that point, in which case these lines will also be coming down at the same rate that this is going up pretty much. So that's like the middle point. So that's kind of a pretty good guess as to where it's going to go. And that line is, hard to tell. I would say it's around 47, let's see, maybe even 40, well, let's see, 47.95 maybe, 47.95. All right, so we did a long, dipped down, not terribly surprised, and it also, and I'm kind of worried that it's going to hold up at this support level here. It pretty much did, came back up to where I got in. And we're kind of in a zigzaggy pattern, and it's possible it will drop down again. Wouldn't be surprised at that, but it didn't. And so I was happy about that. This is at this level here. It hasn't really broken through that resistance level. It's working on it. And I decided, I'm going to take the conservative route and just get out right here. And I will wait it out. So I did. I got out of that position. I hadn't canceled this one yet. Far enough up there, I'm not too worried about it. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to get in another long. I bet it's going to drop down to this point. I went ahead and pre-put in an order. I think I changed it later, but because I don't like to do that usually. But I figured this is probably where it's going to drop down to. Changed my mind here. It kind of leveled out. I thought maybe it was going to drop down to the gold SMA. You can see that the swoop of the gold SMA is starting to go up. This one's still downtrending. Remember, this is our trend line. But we have some recovery to make before we drop again. That's kind of how I'm looking at this. However, the MACD is now looking like it's going to drop down. So I went ahead and canceled the order. I was just going to wait to get in. I'm not in a position right now. I thought it might drop a little bit more. And it pretty much bounced right off of that gold SMA. So I decided, I'm going to go ahead and get in. The MACD is a little high, but I just think it's probably going to go up because that is acting like support now. So I got in along, and here is the opening bell. And it went up just like I was hoping. Actually broke the resistance levels here. And the order, as you can see, is at this last peak right over here. And it also matches pretty close to the gold SMA over here. Pretty happy with where that's going to go, even though that's a long, long way up there for me. That's a big trade. All right, I canceled the order. I'm just going to wait to get out. It's going to do that zigzaggy thing. It's possible I will lose all my profits and it will drop back down. So I decided to go ahead and, you know what? I think I got in two orders here. Nope, I didn't. What did I do there? Okay, so I'm in a, nope. Okay, so I think what happened, it was in a long, okay, I got out at some point. I must have gotten out right around here. And in fact, it says sold at 47.89, 75, no, 50. Okay, so it sold it right here. And now I'm sitting in a $350 profit, 2 trades. I probably should have stopped there and looking back on it, but it was also showing like it was going up at this point. So I decided, even though it's very, very close to hitting that resistance level right there, I decided to do another trade. That's what this is. Okay, so I accidentally it was moving fast enough that when I placed my order, it didn't do a limit order, it did a stop order. But regardless, I got into a long position and it dropped down a bit. Went ahead and put in an exit order where I thought it might go, but it did break the support right there, which was a little concerning, and then it dropped down a good ways. And I was thinking at the time, it's like, wow, okay, if that's all the rise we're going to get, it's just this little bit right here, and then it's going to drop. That's pretty bad. I mean, I really thought it was going to get up further. You can see that, you can see that's more like what I was expecting right there, that kind of a leg up, which would be a bit more than what we saw. So if that's all the rise we got, we are in for a huge drop. However, I'm not 100% convinced that that is all the rise we're going to get. So it dropped back down and it got to the level that it was at before. It kind of bounced off that support and held pretty well. It's pretty flat right through here. Fully expected it to go up. It did drop a little bit further. Still kind of waiting for it to go up. Should not have hung on to this trade. I really, really shouldn't have. I lost all my profits and was in the hole just about as much as I had gained. So that was not a good trade. Should have protected myself a bit more, especially since I'm trading against the trend. But I still haven't given up hope here. I think that it's probably going to go up. And went ahead and got out. I made back all my losses, but I lost all my gains as well. So basically, I'm just now at break even. So like I said, that probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. All right, now notice over here, we have bounced up and hit that resistance level again, right at that point. So I decided, okay, I'm going to do a short. I'm going to give up on this leg going up even farther and do a short. And I expected it to drop at least to here, which would have been fine. It's not that much, but it's good. I kept changing it a little bit as I kind of changed my mind. The way it dropped so quickly there, I thought, well, probably it'll even drop further. And it bounced off that support again. I went ahead and got out and got in a long position, because I went back to my original prediction as it bounced off of that. I decided, okay, I think this might break this resistance level here. It might take a little while. We're looking at, the MACD is on the 15-minute chart. The kind of rule of thumb for that is if you are holding a position for 15 minutes or longer, you're going to start seeing the fruition of this MACD, but you're going to have to hang on to it a long, long time compared to what I normally do. So anyway, I'm in a long position and it's going the right way. I put in an exit order right at this peak here. And I'm at a $362 gain here. Went down, I lost it, still hung on, came back up. And at this point, I kind of decided it is 10:23. I probably should just get out. And so I went ahead and got out at a $337.50 profit with 5 trades, still thinking it might go up, but I need to get everything done. It's just getting late in the day, so I went ahead and got out. I think that's a decent day. So I would say in general, I made some decent trades. I just hung on to a position much longer than maybe I should have. I should have had some stops in place to protect myself, but it worked out in the end. So.